Hello y'all. This was a kind of unexpected live stream. So I'm by a highway. Please forgive the traffic sounds in the background, as I'm by a highway right now. This was an unexpected live stream. But y'all, I just need to vent right now. I finna tell y'all something, cause I just found some really strange stuff that one of my friends just sent me on the internet. All these nuthead conspiracy theorists on Reddit, they're going crazy, and they're slandering the Qarsherskiyan community. Some of my friends have been arguing with them for days. I just found out, and I'm gonna tell y'all what happened, y'all. I'm walking down the highway right now, getting my daily exercise. It's sunset here in Eastern North America. There's the sun setting for the trees. I was minding my own business out here on my hike. My phone kept ringing like brrr, 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 and just going off, vibrating in my pocket. And I'm like, goodness, you know, I usually get a whole lot of notifications. I think I have right now I have one or two YouTube channels I use, mainly just this one. I have one Reddit account. I think it was Wolf something. It's just like a robot-generated name. I have Instagram, Brennan_White757, and I got a Snapchat, and I got a few other social media accounts on different apps. And I'm a pretty well-known person as one of the leaders of one of the youth groups in the Qarsherskiyan Creole community, us ethnic Qarsherskiyan folks. I'm one of the young organizers of a lot of community events. I post a lot of stuff online, a lot of family history and story that's been passed down to me, lots of knowledge and recipes. I post all the information I know. And I post so much when I Google Qarsherskiyan. Within the top 20 search results, sometimes I see photos of me or events that I was at. Sometimes I even find events that I hosted. Sometimes I'm in photos with some of the other folks, and it's me and my friends. So that's how much I've become known online in the Qarsherskiyan community. Although in real life, I don't know how many Qarsherskiyan folks actually know me. But I'm trying to become one of the most famous Qarsherskiyan influencers that covers our community and stuff. But something slipped my radar until just today. My phone kept vibrating as I was telling y'all, right? And I'm like, what is that, bro? My phone never goes off this much. It goes off all the time. But I got tired of ignoring it because it's just... So I unlock my phone after I take it out my pocket. Now it's Instagram notifications. One of my Qarsherskiyan buddies on Instagram is messaging me. And he's like, bro, you gotta look at this. It's crazy. He said, so-and-so, mentioned one of my other friends, has been arguing for days with these internet trolls. They're claiming that we don't exist and that we're robots meant to troll liberals. And I was like, well, what? Come again? And so they sent me a link to some post on Reddit. And there's a Reddit user. I think it's MeChiefManaged83. MeChiefManaged83 on Reddit. But they hide their posts and comments. When people started exposing them for being a racist conspiracy theorist, they hid their posts and comments. So I had to ask that friend, hey, can you go through your post and comment history and see if you can find their posts that you saw and send them to me? So they did. And when I took a look at these posts, I was absolutely mind-boggled, guys. Absolutely mind-boggled when I took a look at these posts. I'm near the ocean right now, and I just stepped on a sandbar, which really sucks. See that? It's spiky and it hurts. I'm pulling it off my sock right now. So sorry about that. But, so, yeah, when my friend sent me the posts from MeChiefManaged83, it was crazy, guys. And they showed me the posts that my friend who messaged me, you know how they said so-and-so, one of my other friends was arguing with him? They sent me some of the posts that other friend made on Reddit. And this is what it saw. I saw that there was someone saying that some website they found on Google when they search Qarsherskin, they find some website. And it's a website I've seen and come across too. They found a website made by someone in the Qarsherskin community. And on the website, it says, we get 109 visitors on an average day, so we might not get back to you in time to message you in the chat on this website. So please leave your contact information so we can get back to you. And there was like screenshots debunking a claim made by Me Chief Managed 83 that was anti-Semitic. They called it an anti-Semitic dog whistle and said 109. That's something that anti-Semitic people say. That Jews got kicked out of 109 countries. And, you know, just like my friend had the reaction, my other friend had the reaction, now it was my turn to see it and have a reaction. We all had the same reaction. What? It says 109 visitors to this website. It doesn't say Jews or anything about anti-Semitism. When I saw it, comments under the post of people like, oh man, that's a shame. I can't believe they're so anti-Semitic. and I saw those comments. They're just like delusional internet conspiracy theorists. Just ignore them and nah, bro, you don't get it, dude. Look at this, dog. And he sent me some other post from this Reddit user, Me Chief Managed 83, where they claim that there is a... And basically, they took screenshots of some Qarsherskiyan woman's Reddit account, where she made a post several months ago, where she was asking people on Reddit, hey, am I shadow banned? People haven't been responding to any of my comments. And like, I'm not getting upvotes or anything. So I'm just checking to see, am I shadow banned? And she wasn't. But someone else put in the comments under her post something like, hey, but am I shadow banned? And then someone replied. Another person replied to the comment under the Qarsherskiyan woman's post, telling the commenter, we have a system on this subreddit that detects if accounts have been in bot farms. And they have reported that you might be in one. But that's just a guess. It could be wrong. But the Qarsherskiyan woman, she wasn't expecting anyone to be talking about the status of someone else. And if they are shadow banned, under her post asking if she's shadow banned. You know, they would have just made their own post asking if they're shadow banned, instead of ask under her post, right? If you follow me, she replied to the commenter. The second commenter, the one who mentioned that the commenter under her post could have bot farm ties or whatever, tends to be Native American sometimes. We'll get into that in a minute. So, Me Chief Managed 83 took a screenshot. We got a motorcycle. Just a second, because it's really loud, and I don't know if y'all could hear me because there was a loud motorcycle passing me. But Reddit user Me Chief Managed 83 took a screenshot of the Qarsherskiyan woman's confused comment and started sharing it, trying to pass it off as a false accusation that she had been accused of being a bot account, when really it was someone else and she was confused, and that was already cleared up months ago. So Reddit user Me Chief Managed 83 started making posts of this one Qarsherskiyan woman claiming she's a bot when she's not a robot, and it's already been dealt with and proven that she wasn't. They weren't even calling her a robot. She thought they were talking to her. They were telling another Reddit user their account got flagged as a bot. And that Reddit user's flag was just allegedly. And that could have just been a person experiencing a technical issue. So this is like really crazy. And do you see how far-fetched this is? Me Chief Managed 83 uses this to make the jump that because I have managed to make it look like this one Qarsherskiyan woman on Reddit is a bot, all the thousands of Reddit accounts belonging to different Qarsherskiyan people are all bots. And they're all part of a big Qarsherskiyan Bot Farm Hoax, they claim. And then they started falsely claiming that we don't exist. Did you know that, guys? Like, look at me. You don't see me. You think you're looking at me, but you don't, because today I just learned I don't exist. We're all robots, actually. Beep, bop, boop, bop, beep, beep. That's right, I'm a robot, guys. Apparently I don't exist. All sarcasm aside, they started claiming this nonsense. And they were using alt accounts to reply to their account and upvote their own post to make it look like that there was a group of people on Reddit who actually believe that we don't exist and that it's just a bot farm hoax with no proof. However, all these people is all one person. It's all different alt accounts of Chief Managed 83. Now about this user, Chief Managed 83, after I saw that, I was kind of like, huh? But I still didn't care, because like, let them believe whatever they want to believe. Let them think we're all robots, whatever. You know, just ignore them and they'll just go talk about something else after some time. But here's the thing, I went down the rabbit hole about the person who made this claim and stuff and thought they were trying to spread misinformation and demonize and alienate the Qarsherskiyan community on Reddit. They have so many fake accounts, and they've been exposed for being part of a racist white supremacist group. They're a white person who probably lives in Canada, but they might have lied about living in Canada, because they also have claimed to live in Poland at the same time as claiming they live in Canada on the same day in different comments, which have probably now been deleted, but I got to see them. I wish I had the screenshots. I've been asking for them. My friend who gave me the tip on this rabbit hole is not online anymore. But the thing about it is, they mainly would claim to be Métis, which is the first red flag, because Métis is in Canada like Cherokee is in the USA. If there's a pretendian, you see a white person who wants to falsely claim to be Native American, in the USA they lie and say they have a Cherokee princess great-great-grandma. In Canada, they lie and say they're Métis, because the Métis community is mixed race people, usually, almost always, right? I don't know if they got any what people like to call full-blooded Métis, and I hate to use that term. But, you know, the Métis community in Canada, outsiders typically think of them as being more light-skinned and having some Eurocentric features sometimes. Because, you know, Métis, a lot of people believe, like, when they think of Métis, what do they think? Someone who is mixed, white and Native American. And there's a good amount of Métis who might have low blood quantum, which doesn't matter, you know. They know who they are. Their community claims them. But the issue is tend to be Native American, like Chief Managed 83. They love to claim they're Métis without even knowing much about Métis till they do research online. They start to pick up the terminology. They become better and better at being an imposter. But they always make mistakes. What happens in the My friend who put me on this rabbit hole, they sent me a bunch of links and stuff and screenshots. Not only does Chief Managed 83 claim to be a Métis from Canada, they also claim to be a Polish Jew with Holocaust survivor ancestry. But one of their account on Stormfront, which we've talked about before, it's a website for neo-Nazis. It's like a Ku Klux Klan meeting house on the internet. Yeah, Chief Managed 83, their Stormfront account got exposed. They have an account on the Stormfront website where the mask comes off and we get to see, we don't know where they actually live, if they're actually in Poland or Canada or Vetzalai too, but we know they lied about being Native American, Métis specifically, and they lied about being a Polish Jew. And they're actually just a white person, 100% Caucasian, And they'll let you know they're proud of it too on their Stormfront account, just not on their Reddit account. And they're literally a neo-Nazi. But here's the crazier thing. This person has, there's one account which we don't know if it's their alt account or if it's actually them. But there's an account that's either their friend or it's their alt account. We haven't proven that is one of their alts yet. But there's an account on Reddit that's the moderator of the Melungeon subreddit, the main one, the official Melungeon subreddit. Here's the thing. The old mod of the Reddit Melungeon subreddit was named like Cynical Seahorse or something on Reddit. Just a robot user-generated name, like that automatically generates when you make a Reddit account. If you don't pick a name, it'll just give you a robo-generated name. The old Melungeon admin of the Melungeon subreddit was Cynical_Seahorse. And there might have been numbers or something, I forget. But I know it was Cynical Seahorse. And they was a really good person. I'm going to refer to them with the pronoun they out of respect because I do not know how they want to be identified, and I don't even know what they are genetically or biologically or how they are inside. I don't know if it's a male or female. That doesn't matter. The point is, the Cynical Seahorse was the moderator of the Melungeon subreddit, and they were a really good person who was well respected in the community and had lots of knowledge and information available. And they used to keep this subreddit up really good. A couple months ago, for some reason, they seemed to just quit Reddit and stop posting. And there's a new moderator of the Melungeon subreddit instantly. And she, or they, or him, we don't know if it's a he or she, they, Cynical Seahorse, you know, they're not the mod of the Melungeon subreddit anymore. They just had a change of moderation. You know, no consulting with the community, no farewell or goodbye to the beloved mod who gave us so much information and started up the subreddit. Nothing like that, just into thin air, gone, change of regime, coup d'etat. Now this new moderator of the Melungeon subreddit is either one of the many alts of Me Chief Managed 83, or if not, then it's 100% a close buddy of theirs working in tandem with them. But they're like two wings of the same bird, or two sides of the same coin. They work in tandem together, upvote each other's posts, and post the same inflammatory stuff, and defend each other no matter what. I really believe it's just another one of the many alts we've seen of Me Chief Managed 83, but we just don't have proof, and we gotta use innocent till proven guilty. This is just one of the few accounts where we can't prove it's actually their alt. It could just be their neo-Nazi buddy, but it doesn't matter, because if that is the case, then they're just working like one mind anyways. So it's the same enemy, right? Enemy or whatever. They took over the Melungeon subreddit. And then, one day, out of nowhere, they banned me from the Melungeon subreddit. I just noticed one morning, I logged in and I tried to post, and I had been banned. After I had posted like the day before, I think. And so I asked the moderator, like, hey, why did you ban me from the Melungeon subreddit? What did I do? And I'm trying to remember what they said. It didn't have anything to do with the conspiracy nonsense about bot farm hoaxes and how I'm a robot, apparently. They said something else unrelated, but it wasn't anything I did wrong. I was mad at them, and I even took screenshots of their conversation. Now I remember, yeah. So they said that they didn't have any ancestors from Appalachia, that they hailed from the coastal regions of Virginia, and that they were mixed race. So that made them a Melungeon. Now, if you know anything about the Melungeons, being a mixed race American doesn't mean you're Melungeon. If that was the case, like, there'd be a whole lot of Melungeons more. The Melungeon population would multiply many times over. In reality, Melungeon is a specific community. And if you don't descend from the Melungeons, you ain't a Melungeon. Biracial people from interracial marriage that occurred within the last 2 decades are not Melungeon. A Melungeon descended from the historic Melungeon community. New people who formed from new interracial marriages, brand new mixed race lineages beginning, are not Melungeon. Melungeon is a centuries-old community, and it's very disrespectful. So this person is not even a real Melungeon. On my Instagram, Brennan_757, I did an Instagram story where I posted all the screenshots and showed how they tried to gaslight me. Okay, I remember. That's when I said that and I remembered what I posted, that jogged my memory. Now I remember the full reason why they banned me. I was mad at them for saying there was a Melungeon. That's what I was confronting them with after they banned me, by posting it on my Instagram. And I told them, I'm going to warn my friends about you as the moderator here. But the reason I got banned was because someone posted to Reddit, as you can see all the screenshots on my Instagram account, and the memories, where you can view the old reels, what do you call them, the memory? The timeline, whatever. Go to my Instagram account, click on the circle that says like fake Melungeon or Melungeon or something, and you'll see all the screenshots of what happened. So anyways, what happened though, as you can see and check for yourself and verify, is someone posted a question to the Melungeon subreddit asking if Mahala, I think her last name was Mullins, the famous Mahala, the moonshiner, asking how much Indian blood does she have. And I just explained that that's a disrespectful thing to ask. And no one should ask an indigenous person, how much Indian blood do you have? Because it's disrespectful and dehumanizing. And all people have blood. It doesn't matter. No one asks a black person, are you a real black person or are you 98% black? No one goes to Obama and says, you're actually not a real black person. How much black blood do you have, Obama? What's your black blood quantum? The only people who get treated like dogs with pedigrees are indigenous Americans. And so I said all that in a comment under that post, explaining all that and why it's so disrespectful and dehumanizing, and how many tribes, like the Eastern Band of the Cherokee, they just mainly require direct lineal descent. They don't believe in racial purity. Racial purity was invented by European colonizers. The vast majority of Native Americans, like real natives, not like the pretendians, they don't believe in racial purity. It's mainly in the U.S., if you find someone who believes in racial purity, not always, but they're usually like a white person, like a white supremacist, or someone who's been affected by colonization and white supremacy, and they haven't decolonized their mind, and they're not connected with indigenous culture. Native American, generally speaking, don't believe in racial purity. Right? So I made a post saying that. And then someone replied to my comment that I posted saying that. And they said something under the lines of, I don't remember word for word, but what they said was that I was basically being rude and they might not know that. And I am privileged to have the education that I do. And I told them, I am not privileged and I don't really have a good education yet. I haven't even gone to college. I just graduated high school. They didn't teach me this in school either. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to educate. They didn't know. They might not have had any bad intent. But now they should know. I've replied to them and told them that. And then the new Melungeon moderator, the new Melungeon mod that's actually just a mixed person who's never had any connection to Appalachia that they're aware of at all, banned me and said that I called Native Americans dogs because I explained that Native Americans aren't dogs and they're the only people who get treated like they have a pedigree like dogs. So I told this Melungeon admin, no, that's not what I said. I was talking about this blood quantum and then I explained what I said again. And then they said, having a card is not having a pedigree. Native Americans are not dogs. Just because someone has a blood quantum measurement or a tribal card doesn't mean they're a dog. Like, that's not what I said anyways, but yeah, I know. Thanks for telling me what I'm trying to explain. Native Americans are human beings and not dogs. They shouldn't be measured with a pedigree. Like, they was completely misunderstanding my whole comment and all the detail, my big paragraph. And what they took away from it is, oh, so he's saying that Native Americans are dogs. After I said Native Americans are the only people that get treated like dogs with a pedigree. No one asks, like, white people, hey, what's your white blood quantum? How much white blood do you have? Are you a real full-blooded white man? If you hear that, that's like a red flag, you know. You're dealing with like some extremist neo-Nazi. Like maybe 1 in 200,000 people think and act that way, you know. You never hear someone say like no one would go up to Barack Obama and be like, President Obama, what's your black blood quantum? You know, do you know how much percentage black DNA you have? Are you a pure black, Obama? Are you a real black, or are you a fraud? Are you actually secretly a white agent? No one says this nonsense, you know. The only people that get treated like this is Native American. And I'm not talking about in Native American communities and tribes establishing their own blood quantum. They have the right to do that, and there's good reasons to do that, and I respect that. I'm talking about usually white Americans who think they can walk up to Native Americans and be like, so like, how much Indian blood do you actually got? If you talk to anyone who's knowledgeable on the history of Native Americans and blood quantum, especially like an indigenous person or an ally, like someone who knows what they're talking about, they will 100% repeat everything I just said and say, yeah, there's nothing wrong. That's how it is. That's what they say. I learned it from the Native community. They said, we don't believe in racial purity. Some tribes have blood quantum requirements. That's good. That keeps out, some issues. They have reasons for doing it. They're sovereign nations. They have the right to determine their citizens. My point is, it's rude for white American or anyone who's not Native American to go up to people who are Native American and be like, so like, how much Indian blood do you really got? That's rude. No one should do that. If you talk to mixed natives, the vast majority of them will all say the same thing. It's a pretty offensive question. It's backwards. That's stuff from the past. It's 2025. Do you guys understand why I'm upset? You can tell I'm upset, can't you? I'm sorry. So now, about 2 weeks later, after that Melungeon moderator banned me and muted me for 3 days, when I kept trying to say, that's not what I said, you're coming up with your own takeaways that are not what I said. That's exactly what I'm trying to explain. What you're trying to tell me, that's what my point was. That's what I was saying. And eventually he just got tired of trying to comprehend common sense and just muted me for 3 days. And it's been 2 weeks and I just forgot about it and moved on. But they didn't, apparently, because it turns out it's either one of Me Chief managed 83's alt accounts or one of their best buddies who agrees with everything Me Chief managed 83 says. And for all intents and purposes, it's basically the same thing at that point. If they're going to upvote each other and post the same stuff, and it's one person, really. It's the same issue. It's the same problem from the same source, So we don't have proof that it is an alt, but I believe it is. And I think even if it's not, it should be treated like one of their alts, because they just act like they're alt. They agree with everything they say. They have the same bigoted beliefs and stuff, right? Now, after this happened, today I was shown that. And I was looking at the list of all the proven and speculated alts. I found the Melungeon admin of the Melungeon subreddit was one of the alts. So, the potential alt of Me Chief Managed 83, that is the moderator of the Melungeon subreddit. I think their username is Great Something. If it isn't an alt, they're still not a Melungeon, right? Because they just said they have origins in coastal Virginia. That's not Appalachia. That's not Melungeon. they don't have any connection to Appalachia, then how are they Melungeon? By definition, Melungeons originated in Appalachia. There is no coastal Virginia Melungeons except Melungeons who moved to coastal Virginia. Any Melungeon ancestors who were in coastal Virginia predate the formation of a Melungeon community. The Melungeons are people who went and they was in Appalachia, and people like, who are these people? They couldn't determine their origins. And they got called Melungeons, and they were from Appalachia. Some of them moved away from the mountains. That's recent human migration to big cities and other parts of the USA, as many Americans move often, right? It's not like some other places in the world where a family lives in the same house for 800 years, you know. In the USA, people can kind of move around a lot, even very far to other states and all that. So, you see what I'm trying to say, though? And if it is Me Chief managed alt, that means they even probably lied about their Tidewater ancestry, too. Because how are you, a Métis from Canada, who is also a Polish Jew who's not a Métis and not from Canada and lives in Poland, and also at the same time a Melungeon with Tidewater origins who lives in Appalachia? Those statements can't all be true. As much as one can or none can. They all contradict each other. And I'm sure they have more identities and personas they've made up and lied about having on Reddit. The issue is they've hid their posts. I just seen what my friends seen and were able to get and send to me by finding stuff in their search history on Reddit when they open up Reddit and Google Chrome and doing other stuff to go back and find where they saw these posts and send it to me. I couldn't even access them because when they found out people knew that they were white supremacists, their Stormfront account got leaked, and you know, people knew they were making up this Qarsherskiyan Bot Farm conspiracy theory. They tried to expose the person. Me Chief managed 83. So they hid all their posts and comments like a coward, avoiding confrontation and avoiding people, you know, questioning them and trying to figure out, you know, like, hey, why are you calling us robots and stuff and trying to slander us? Do you have a problem with us? What's the deal? They just are acting like a coward. They made a subreddit called Humanitarian Muslims. The last thing that my friend sent me before I made this live stream, because after I found out all this, I was still like, okay, well, let's just ignore them and they'll go away. That's what I kept saying every time I looked at more and more stuff my friends sent me, right? But then they sent me something else that finally irked me enough. I was like, okay, I need to put out a PSA, like a warning about this dangerous pretendian. I'm making a live stream. The last thing I've seen so far before my live stream is that they made a subreddit called like Humanitarian Muslims. And they used it to pretend to be a Muslim all of a sudden. Polish Jew, Métis, Melungeon, now Muslim. Polish Jew, Canadian Métis, Appalachian Melungeon, but with no ties to the Melungeon community and from coastal Virginia, and now a Muslim. And don't forget, they have an account on Stormfront and are a white supremacist neo-Nazi who hates Muslims and hates all minorities. Yeah, they're not a Muslim, guys. They're pretending to be a Muslim too, just like they're pretending to be a Polish Jew and a Métis and a Melungeon, if the Melungeon subreddit is actually their alt, not their buddy. But either way, even if it's their buddy, then they have a buddy who pretends to be Melungeon. You got one or as much as two people who love an identity fraud and love trying to infiltrate minority communities online and just wreak havoc because they're a hateful white supremacist. And they have no life and they're terminally online. And let me tell you, you hear me using strong language without remorse. You know what I got to tell you guys? When they made this Humanitarian Muslim subreddit, they invited a bunch of people to get like 50 or so members so they can post content to send humanitarian... Cars speeding on the highway doing over the speed limit. But yeah, so like they pretend to be a Muslim and they invite a bunch of Muslims from Muslim Reddit onto this subreddit, right? They send them all invites to this humanitarian Muslims subreddit, where they lie and pretend to be a Muslim who cares about charity for all people of all faiths around the world. But they've been DMing Muslims misinformation and slander against Islam to try to make them leave Islam while claiming to be a Muslim and doing this humanitarian Muslim subreddit moderation stuff with this subreddit they made. And whenever the people screenshot what they said and tried to expose them, they just banned them from the subreddit. But we've seen the screenshots. So they're lying and pretending to be a Muslim and trying to trick Muslims by spreading misinformation about Islam, trying to see if they can get anyone to leave Islam because of misinformation. It makes Islam look bad, right? And for those of you who hate Islam and think, good, I'm glad they're doing that, it's all fun and games until they come after your community next. That's just another community that they've tried to mess around with. And on the humanitarian Muslim subreddit, they have a list of blacklisted subs, including the few subreddits on Reddit managed by different members of the Qarsherskiyan community. They've posted screenshots of dozens of Qarsherskiyan people's Reddit accounts and just claim they were all bots with zero evidence. And there is evidence very much on the contrary. You know, I know some of these people. One of the people is me. They're claiming I'm a robot and not a real person. One of the many accounts they listed is literally me. And, well, you guys have seen me for the last 37 minutes. If you think I'm AI, then I don't know what to tell you. At this point, you don't know what AI is. It's very clear to anyone with common sense that I'm a real person. They claimed some of my cousins and friends were robots, too. They claimed that all the Qarsherskiyan people on Reddit were robots. Thousands of us were all just a bot hoax. Dismissed us all. No proof, just a claim. You know, and they used their alt accounts commenting under their posts, making these outrageous claims to make it look like that a bunch of people agree with them and are also just as deprived of common sense. You know, there's a bunch of other people, aka their alt accounts, commenting stuff like, oh, it's a shame that all these robots are doing all this. And here's the most crazy part. Not only have they blacklisted subreddits and banned like all these Qarsherskiyan users, so we can't actually like have dialogue and stick up for ourselves while they slander us and claim we're all bots with zero evidence, but they've been upvoting their own posts with these all these alt accounts and stuff, and leaving all these comments and stuff saying all this nonsense, trying to validate their own opinion with alts and make it look like they're right because they have more upvotes and all these commenters agreeing with them when it's one person with all these alts. And it gets even crazier though, because now they've been posting saying that not only are they claiming all the Qarsherskiyan people on Reddit are bots, but they're claiming all the Qarsherskiyan people, you know, us Qarsherskiyan people, the mixed race community, they're claiming that we're all just white supremacists pretending to be mixed race so we can make mixed race people look bad and troll the libs in their own words. This is coming from the actual neo-Nazi with a Stormfront account. And guys, it's ridiculous. They're talking about like I don't want to say a bunch of information about my friends if I don't have information to mention their name on this profile. Because if you know their name and that they're Qarsherskiyan, you only got to do a little bit of searching to find like their personal family Facebook profiles and stuff. And this is a live stream where I'm calling out this person. So if they find it, they might like retaliate against anyone I mention. And if I don't have permission from these people, I'm not going to drag them into what could happen with this video if they find it and retaliate and try and harass people more. Yeah, they've been harassing people too. I don't even need to get into that yet though, because the thing is, they've been claiming that we are not actually mixed and that we're racist white supremacists, trying to make mixed race people look bad and troll the libs and stuff. And they said like all the Qarsherskiyan Jews aren't actually Jews, all the Qarsherskiyan believers in this religion aren't actually, etc., etc. They just listed all the different religions that they could find different Qarsherskiyan people practicing without any proof whatsoever, not knowing their hearts, just said, oh, they're not sincere, they're just pretending to troll the libs because they're white Christians and they're white supremacists. And they claim that I am actually a white person, which is not true. My DNA and just looking at me makes it very clear that I'm actually mixed. And they claim that I'm not a Muslim and that I'm just pretending a Muslim to make Islam look bad. Okay, even if that was true, I must be doing a very terrible job, because what have I been doing to make Islam look bad? I've done a lot of arguing with people, spreading misinformation about Islam, trying to say stuff that isn't true about our faith, trying to say that we allow child marriages, people trying to say that our religion tells us to beat women. There's been all kinds of misinformation and lies made to make Islam look bad. And I've been debunking them, disproving them, and rebuking these claims and refuting them over and over for years now. So if I was pretending to be religious, but I'm actually lying and trying to make my faith look bad, I must be doing a really terrible job, because I have not done anything bad or anything that makes the whole community look bad, right? And that is what is really outrageous, because when they have all these alt accounts to leave comments and upvote themselves to make it look like there's a bunch of people that agree with them, and they have that gives them like an authority, where innocent Reddit users browsing the internet are finding this person's posts and they're not taking time to investigate and research it because they might just not have time. And they're just taking it at face value and believing it. Like, okay, wow, these dangerous people got exposed. They're actually robot neo-Nazis trying to make mixed race and Jews and Muslim people look bad. You know, if they're not, they just believe in what they see because they see these posts have upvotes, and I think that means that it is factual. I know that sounds bad. I don't want you guys to harass any of these people if you see people have been duped by this person on Reddit, but it's the person on Reddit, it's their fault for making these posts with these alts and spreading this misinformation. And when it's causing me and some of my relatives to get death threats on phone calls and emails, we're being harassed and stuff, then that's not okay. That's not good. My friend put me onto this. They got 7 phone calls just in the last 4 hours before I started making this live stream from 7 different numbers with at least a 1 male voice and 1 female voice. They might be trying to change their voice, but they said one definitely sounded like a man, and there was some that definitely sound like women. So it could be a really good voice actor. It could actually be multiple people, and not some with a bunch of numbers. But they get all these people calling them, harassing them and stuff, and calling them names, and calling them a white supremacist and stuff, because of these posts they're finding on Reddit, which I won't say where you can go find them, because I don't want, any of these people being targeted to be targeted more and drag them into the fallout of this live stream. Because when this person or their potential buddy that might exist and not be an alt find this, there's going to be fallout. They're going to react to this and retaliate. They're going to do something else because they're getting attention. And I don't like giving trolls attention, but I want to put out this PSA and document this. And even if it doesn't get out and people don't see it, at least I'll have this video that I made today. So in several months, if these people try and act innocent and act like they don't know why we're all mad and what we're talking about, I can just send people the link to this live stream video. They'll be like, oh, this is a video from months ago of this guy explaining all this stuff. That way people can see that we're not just mad out of no reason. Like, people will try and gaslight it and make it look like we're just acting crazy. Now, there's a video that will be months old exposing all this stuff, and it'll be me talking about it. It'll be this video after several months, so that if they continue doing this, I'll have this video. That's one thing. I'm going to do several other things to combat this troll, and then I'm going to ignore them, and I recommend you all do the same too. But yeah, cheers. It's been a A crazy live stream, y'all. The best is yet to come. And as always, Assalamu alaikum.